Hi guys. So this video will be start of a series called Applied AI Engineering, where I'll be sharing the concepts which I have learned for the past 2 months of creating a voice AI agent from scratch for my company. Right. So as you guys know, I have not posted any videos for the past 2 months, and I would consistently post at least 2 or 3 videos every month. Right. The reason behind me not posting any videos is actually I got uh, a very difficult task in my work to create a voice AI agent from absolute scratch, and then for it to have very low latency with custom knowledge base as well as user memory. Okay. So I had to learn everything from scratch, and then I did, and then I implemented it in both React Native and then in Next.js. And it's actually in beta right now. Okay. So the thing is, like, as I have learned so many things for the past 2 months, I have upgraded myself or upskilled myself from just being a React Native engineer to an applied AI engineer. Okay. So moving forward, I will be also using all of the AI technologies that I am going to mention in this particular series with React Native and Next.js. So that's the kicker. That's where the kicker is, right? So we all know the base version of React Native and then Next.js and Node.js, Express.js, and all the API stuff, cache, database. That itself is slightly tougher to do. But I did on like I learned AI engineering on top of that, and I mingled both Web 2 and then AI engineering to provide a full fledged product. Okay, I'm not boasting here, but what I wanted to say is it has changed my view of engineering or like engineering completely, like software engineering completely. Okay. What I understood is more than you coding all day or all night, right? You just have to understand the fundamentals thoroughly before entering into this AI field, right? So there are so many videos in YouTube and around the internet where people would like explain, okay, how to make $1,000 per day or per hour, etc., with AI tools. And I am not going to do make all those videos because I don't believe in them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to provide a real way of getting into the AI engineering field, right? And then it's up to you on how much money you make. I'm not going to explain, okay, you can make this much, etc. I'm just going to provide you the technical concepts that you have to master, and then how to strengthen your fundamentals to scale up from zero to how much users you get, right? So what I will be doing is this video will be an intro to all of my applied AI engineering videos, and the next one would be about front end, and the next and the next would be about backend, and then the telephone. Okay, remember that you should be at least somewhat strong with Web 2 technologies, with APIs, backends, APIs, databases, caches, queues, and all those things, right? Only if you're strong with that, you will get a grasp of this. But still, you can all listen to my video series on this to gain more knowledge on how this particular industry works and how it will move forward and how you can take part in this, just like how I did, and then what I would say, like, upskill yourself, right? So this will be the entire roadmap which I have prepared. I will go through this one by one, right? So this is the notes that I have prepared for this particular video. So what I'll do, this is slightly difficult to read, so I'll use this. Okay. So for the next 4 videos, right, we'll be making something called Runix Mine. Okay, it's just a made up my name that I have provided. Okay, why I have used this Runix Mine is, so the first thing you have to understand about any LLM and all those concepts, right, is LLMs do not have any state. Okay. It's just like how you speak with a 5-year-old, or like not a 5-year-old, let's take a toddler or like a newborn baby. If you say something to it, it will not understand. Like it will understand. Sorry, it will not understand. Sorry. But if you say to a 5-year-old or 6-year-old, yeah, it would understand and say something back, but it would completely forget it. Okay. If I am wrong with this example, please correct me. But that's what I'm saying. It's LLMs are stateless. They are memoryless. Okay. So for example, if you go to ChatGPT, or let's say you make your own AI chatbot in 2025, and then you just use ChatGPT's API, right? GPT 40 or 40 mini, etc. If you ask a question like who are you or what do you want, it will answer. And if you say I like ice cream, and then it will say, okay, you like ice cream, what flavors you want. But the next question, right, if you ask, can you tell me what I like, the agent, like the chatbot, will not know what it is. The thing is, it's called being stateless. So as LLMs are stateless, you can't use it in any enterprise applications. Okay, you can just use it for information retrieval, etc. But that's where applied AI engineering or AI agents come into play. Okay, we are going to make what I would say like LLMs with memories, which will do task for us with memory of what we want step by step. Okay, so that's what we are going to do now. The thing is, for once we do that, we have to deploy it somewhere. That's where front end comes. Okay, we have to deploy it in a website or in an app, right? Or in some other no code automation tools. That is one. And then the memory would stay in a backend, in a vector database, etc. I will explain all those things. Okay, so the crux of this series would be to understand how you can make AI agents and break into the field of apply AI engineering, and of like how I did, like on just like how I did. Okay, so before going into this particular video, right, or this particular series or any other AI videos moving forward, right? This is a disclaimer I want you guys to know, right? And the important notes, and then you can skip this particular section because it's just like some disclaimer on what my stand would be on this AI field, etc. Okay, I will definitely provide the timestamps below. You can literally skip from this section, this particular part. Okay. So the first thing I wanted to say is I'm not associated with any, like we will be looking into a lot of SaaS tools, public SaaS tools which are available, which run on AI agents and LLMs. I am not associated with any one of them. Okay, this video is based on my experience and what I know of them personally and professionally. I have no contact with any of them in the AI and the LLM space. Okay, so and then they are not sponsored any of this stuff. That's one. The next one is I will focus more on the applied AI engineering side, which is the product side. Whereas I am strong with Next.js and React Native, so I will focus more on how you can deploy all these stuff to a UI, right? To a UI where your users can use it. For example, let's say Google.com, right? Billions of users can go to Google.com and use it. So if you have to make an AI agent which the users can use, so it will be based on more inclined to the front end side. The next one, so people ask around, right, like what is ML engineering? So for ML engineering, for first let's take AI engineering, right? It's more inclined to the user side, how people use it, how users use it. For ML, right, it's more of a backend side. So for example, it is something like how Netflix predicts which particular video or series we want. That uses ML engineering. They have so much data points from how users interact with the app, and then they use data engineering to stream all the information to their ML predictive models, and then from there they would create all those stuff, right? We are not going to dive into any of those. That's ML engineering side, and I'm not going to go into those because I don't know most of those stuff, right? But I know one thing where I was able to create a small POC model where in Python, I was able to create a predictive model where I streamed thousands of data points, and then I got the predictive model out. That is just like basic level for ML side, which is not the field that I'm working on. But Netflix has billions of data points. Okay, so their predictive models will be extremely good. So we are not going to dive into that. Okay. So next one is all my videos coming forward, not only these 4 videos, would be focused on how to create a product than how to research and improve an existing model. Why I am stating this is, For example, GPT is a product. Okay, GPT is a product where the UX engineering works, the front end engineering and the back end, the caches, they use temporal for queues, etc. Right? That is to make the product more resilient and to give the product to the end user. I'm not going to discuss anything about research because I don't know much about any research stuff. I'm just a product person. So I'm not going to research how I'm going to explain how to research and then how to improve an existing model by ML engineering or all those stuff. I don't know any of those. So I'm not going to discuss anything about those things. I'm just going to focus on how you can use applied AI engineering to make AI features for your product. Okay. So, and the next one is I'll be drawing a lot of parallels to Web 2. Web 2 is nothing but just like UI and then backend, etc. with AI. So, what I understand is without Web 2, you can't do any AI features. Okay. AI is built on top of Web 2. It's like what I would say, it's gelled together. You can have application without AI features, but you can't have AI features without Web 2. Okay, because you need to have a front end, you need to have back end to store all those informations, right? So the main objective is, so understanding the fundamentals is crucial. So you should have some knowledge with Web 2 to become strong in this, right? And then this is the most important point. And I was a critic of AI as well, but now I'm not anymore, right? The thing is, purpose of this video is to improve or augment our productivity and then provide value to our customers. Okay. Rather than using AI to replace anyone or replace ourselves as developers. Okay. That is not the point of my videos. My point of all my videos purpose would be to improve developers' productivity or provide value. These two, only these are the two fundamental points. I'm not an executive. I'm not in the age to be an exec to do any of those stuff, and I don't want to jump into any of those things. I just want to provide technical explanations to features and where you can use that in your application and increase revenue for your own app, right? And then the same thing, my only intention is to improve the skill set of myself as well as other developers who are seeing this to innovate in their own company, right? But this is what I have been doing for the past 2 months. From scratch, I have learned all these things and I have deployed the applications to our what I would say production systems, right? Which is still in beta, but the main part is done. 99% of the work is done. I'm not going to dive into all those things. I'm just going to explain the public information available in a condensed manner. Okay, so yeah, this one. So with this upskilling, I personally got internally promoted to an applied AI engineering role, right? From just working with front ends and like back end and React Native and app stuff. But the thing is, I really loved it because the main thing is, uh, after grinding out 10, 12 hours a day and then like losing sleep overall, like for the past 2 months, what I understood is you have to grind it out. There is no other way. There is no one who's going to come and help you, right? So you have to grind all these features from scratch. So you have to first grind and learn all these features and make the features, right? Learning is one part. Making it is another big difficult task, but I was able to do it. So now I'm very confident on these particular skills, and then I have it as a working proof. So I'm more confident on that. The main thing is how we can apply function tool calling, which is why AI agents are there in the first place, right? So these are the informations that I want to provide as a disclaimers, right? The main thing is this. So just use it to improve or move up in your own company, right? Yeah. So that ends there. Now I'm going to jump into the video content, which would be the intro section. Okay. So what are all these, right? The first thing I wanted to discuss is I found an extremely well made guide here. Okay, by her, right, Janvi Kalra. She's working in OpenAI, right? So I found our video through I think Pragmatic Engineer, where I have the subscription, but this particular blog is free, right? So in that particular podcast, I found this one which had a bird's eye view of everything I needed to know to break into this field, right? So I will explain this one by one, and then I will also explain all the things in this particular section, right? And then I will conclude this video, and then in the next video I will explain about the front end, how you can do all these things in the front end, right? So the first thing is, she has made this blog post where she has discussed that the what are the different kinds of products or services which are available in the AI industry. When I wanted to jump into this particular industry, right? As well, even if I'm in software, as I said, Web 2 is the base layer, AI is the top layer. So I wanted to know what are all the AI stuff people are doing. Okay. So the main thing here is, this has a bird's eye view. One is model providers, AI infrastructure, and AI products. Okay. The first thing is for the model providers. So what are model providers? For model providers, right? It's nothing but the models provided by GPT or DeepSeek or Quen, QWEN, and then the other LLaMA, and all LLaMA is nothing but from Meta. We have LLaMA, and then Mistral from the French AI company, etc. Right. So the first thing is the model providers, which is like, let's assume OpenAI, right? They create the models and then they open source it. So they open source it in something called HuggingFace. Okay, so I'll go to HuggingFace and then LLaMA, right? So I'll go here, and then here these LLMs or open source models are created by Meta, and then they open source it in their own website, right? And then what HuggingFace does is, it takes the model and then hosts it in HuggingFace, which is allowed by their terms and conditions, right? So these big tech or the big giants create these models, which we can use for free. That's the mind blowing part, where they create all these things and then they host it somewhere. It's just like an app where people can create an app and then they can host it for free in the app store, and then you can download it and use it. You can assume it with the web 2. Okay. So now we have all these things. So we have, let's assume, LLaMA from Meta. And then now, where do you host it? Okay. You can host it in AI infrastructure, which is slightly, or for me it was difficult to understand at start, but once you understand it, it's just cakewalk. Okay. So for a parallel, I'm going to assume this, right? So I'm going to draw something here. I will go this side. So here my drawing won't be that good, but this is what I have. Okay. So for Web 2, right? For Web 2, you have this server. Okay. So you have this server, right? What do? You make your backend and you make your API routes in Express.js, Golang, or any other language, and you host it in Google or AWS, EC2 or Lambda, etc. Right? You have it here. Okay. Now what happens is, your users can consume the API in their app. So that is one, right? Now, how we can draw a parallel with this to AI engineering? That's where these AI infrastructure comes into play, right? So for this AI infrastructure, right, I'll do this. Okay, this is next. Okay, so in the AI infrastructure, what all these companies do, right? When I understood what they do, it was mind-boggling on how many companies are there to do this. Right, even in Web 2, I believe there are not these many companies to do one exact function. Okay, so let's assume model.com, right? I'm not affiliated with them, but I'm going to go to model.com. Okay, let's go to model.com. Here, serve custom AI models at scale. So what are these? As she says, it's an infrastructure one. So here we have created a backend server and we are consuming it in the app. Let's assume it's hosted in AWS. Okay, it's hosted in AWS. Now, what I can do is, I can take any of the open source model, not closed source models from OpenAI. Okay, so I will take the open source models from LLaMA or Mistral or any other providers, and then I can take all those code on the transformers, like literally the open source model, and then put it onto model or VV8, not VV8. Not Groq is not okay. I think only model. She has just given model.com. There are other AI infrastructures providers like Cerebrum, and then I think like these are the two things. We use Cerebrum, but for model, like we are going to use Cerebrum. But model.com is one more infrastructure provider where you can take the open source model and put it on model.com's GPUs, right? And then run inference models. Okay, what they are saying, add one line of code to run any function in the cloud, get instant auto scaling for ML inference, data jobs, and more. Okay, so here in the AWS and all these things, right? What I have done, like you can host your backend Web 2 API server. Now I'm literally going to copy this, and then I'm going to paste it here. Okay, this is not nice. So here I have the I have the LLaMA model. Okay, LLaMA. Okay, LLaMA model, and then I'm going to take this, and then I'm going to put this into a server, which will be powered by. Okay, I'll put this here, and then this will be powered by model. Okay, model.com's GPUs. Okay, and then this will be served to my app directly, right? Actually, you have to proxy it, but still you can take this LLaMA open source model, host it on model's GPU servers, and then inference of the open source model to your application. Okay, that's where the first infrastructure company comes into play. Okay, so what is this, right? Like it would be slightly confusing for you to understand. I will explain it one by one. So for the Web 2 concept, right? For the Web 2 concept, we'll be using CPUs and memory to determine the power of the system, how many RPS or how many API calls it can take per second, right? But the same thing we can use with models GPUs. Okay, this word is very important, which is nothing but GPUs. Okay, so what we do, we host all these things, host a model on models GPUs, and then we can run our own custom GPT on cloud. Okay, that's why they are infrastructure providers. AWS is an infrastructure provider which provides databases, API machines, servers to run API instances. Right, so that's the correct word. API instances. Servers to run API instances and caches, etc. Right. What model does is it allows us to create, host, or rent their GPU instances to run open source models or whatever models we have. Okay, that is the difference between Web 2 and AI engineering, right? So if you understand this would be extremely easier to understand. Okay, right. Now let's go to their website, see pricing, right? So what are these things? NVIDIA B200 and all those things, right? So you can simply assume this as one core CPU and then 2 GB RAM, and then what I would say, 16 core CPU, 32 GB RAM, all those things, right? You can assume the lowest, least powered CPU as this, and then highest power CPU as this one. I'm just mirroring this. So from model standpoint, this is extremely costly. So per hour itself is $6.2 dollars per hour to run this particular GPU model in model. Right. The same thing for this one. Right. In AWS, we have different tiers of CPUs which we can use. Same in Google Cloud Run, same in Azure. Right. The same way, if you want to host your own LLM models or any other open source models, you can use model.com to host them and then literally use it as a chat GPT for your application. Right. So for example, let's take you use chat GPT's API to do all the AI stuff, right? Now you can host an LLM from LLaMA in model, and then you can what I would say, you can have your own GPT, right? That's where infrastructure startups come into play. Okay, here only model.com is provided. These are I think together. Let's see, together.ai. Okay, here. Okay, actually together.ai also does that, right? AI acceleration cloud, the turbocharged model training and inference on NVIDIA GPUs built with open source and fine tune your own AI. So what they are saying, if I scroll down, you can see DeepSeek and then LLaMA, Quen, and all these models are there, right? What you can do, you can host these things on their servers, on their GPU instances, and then you can have your own LLM. Okay, that is just for two companies here. There are so many companies here, right? These are self-hosted. Okay, so you host on the you host any model on their servers, right? But you have Groq, and then Scale AI. Scale AI was acquired by Meta. Okay, that's why she has added it here. Scale AI was acquired by Meta for $15 billion. I think 14 or $15 billion. Let's see. Scale AI. Okay, Meta. Okay, okay. Meta approach record. Okay, $14 billion. Okay, 4 days ago from a recording of today. Right? Why? Because I will explain one by one. Right? But the main reason of Meta acquiring them is I will go to their website. Power enterprise AI with your data. Okay, the main reason that they use is, if I scroll down. Okay, data labeling. This is why they paid $14 billion for this company. Okay, this comes under the ops or operations, where let's take, if you have billions or trillions of data points, you need a way to label them and then to ingest in your database. Okay, Scale AI that particular pain point or that problem extremely well. So those guys got paid $14 billion to join Meta. Okay, so think about this. Just this, but not only this, they would do so many things like data curation and all these things. Right. So she has mentioned that in her AI infrastructure column. Okay. Now this is just the intro. Right. You have Chroma, which is a Chroma, Pinecone, and I also mentioned HuggingFace, where they host the models, right, where you can download them. Pinecone is a vector database. Databricks is a data, like something like, I have not used Databricks before, but it's something like a ops machine, where ops operation, and then data lake and all those things, Snowflake and Databricks. And then Groq. Groq is an AI inference provider, where they would provide LLaMA and other models there, where you can use them and all those things. Right. Now, I'll explain all those things in the backend section. Okay. This video has gotten too long, but I'll explain it in the backend section. Here, if I come back here, so these guys make the the models. These guys help us to host all these things in their servers so that we can use them to make our own LLMs. Now, here we have all these, right? All these. I will explain Glean. Okay, I'll go to Glean. Glean is an enterprise AI solution where, okay, I think, okay, yeah, okay, it's come. Here, Glean is an enterprise AI solution where where we can use our enterprise data points, and then the agents will work, like their Glean's AI agents will work on that and answer us questions, right? So how I can summarize that is, they have used all these things, the bottom two sections, and then with those sections, so with all these products and services, they have made their own AI agent, which will tap into enterprise data points. Or let's say you are working in Google, and then you want all your employees. Let's say Google employs thousands and thousands of people, right? So you have huge amount of internal documents which will be stored somewhere. Now you have to go somewhere and get all those information if you want to learn from them. But with Glean, what you can do, you can put all those information into Glean, like all the internal documents into Glean, and then Glean will use their custom-made AI agents to filter through all of them and put them into vector databases and then make AI agents, etc. So that, for example, if you go here, right, and then if you go into Glean, and then you can ask, okay, how to go to this particular section or whatever, right? Or how to pull together a 360 on Acme Corp, something like that. If let's say if you do this, right, what Glean will do is it will use its AI agents to do step by step process, and then it will provide you the answer back. Okay, right. With the internal documents that you have provided, with custom RAG and memory, and with custom agents, AI agents. The best part is they you can do it with a tap, right? You can just simply grab all your internal documents, even if it's in gigabytes or terabytes, can put that here, and then you can the agents will take care of the rest, right? Now let's take a new employee joins, right? You can add them into Glean, and then you can make them go through the onboarding flow, etc. with Glean. Okay, so this is a AI product, literally a AI product. Work AI, that's what they are saying. Work AI for all. So they have made an AI product by using all these technologies and providers, and then they have packaged it neatly so that enterprises can like literally just tap and go. Like you can see how many people have run it. Glean are using it. Glean helps you get work done rather than just find information. The moment we launched Glean, there was so much positivity. Let's go here. So Booking.com scales AI to 14,000 employees and redefines work with Glean. Okay, you can see the search that finally worked. You can see before Glean, Booking.com juggled numerous workplace applications and dealt with inefficient access, resulting in stale data, inefficient collaboration, reducing productivity. So, what do you understand here? So, as I said, if you have terabytes of data, it's impossible to go through all of it. So, you can put that all into Glean, and then you can literally have a LLM agent, LLM chatbot, one, and then an AI agent to work on top of it. Okay, that's the power of it, right? And I am not sponsoring, like Glean is not sponsoring me or anything like that, but I'm just saying how they have used like what I would say, the underlying technologies like model providers and AI infrastructure to make a complete product for so much enterprises, right? So that's what I wanted to say here. See how much people they have. Booking.com is so big. They are using Glean to optimize their productivity and workflow, just like how I mentioned here. So my only intention is to help and then add AI feature in the whole company to increase their products positioning and innovate. Okay, that's what Glean does. That's exactly what Glean does, right? So, for example, Webflow, Databricks. Let's go to let's go to Grammarly. That's what the Grammarly support team finds answers faster with Glean. Okay, so how do you can make a Glean yourself? How, with a lot of knowledge in Web2, and on top of that with a lot of knowledge on AI engineering, right? Just like how I mentioned in this particular video, right? So from this particular like just this link and from this particular image, right, we learn so many things, and we will be learning a lot of things in the upcoming videos. Okay, so yeah, like I will explain all these things in my next videos. So in the next one, what I'll be explaining is I'll be explaining how you can implement it in front end application, right? So the thing is, like, from here we will go. This is the intro, right? In the intro we discuss all these things. We'll also discuss it in the front end version as well, right? But for the front end, right, we will also go through a tool called N8N, which is a automation tool where there is no need to worry about all these things. Okay, you can just use a no code automation tool to do these things. But as I am a person who wants to go with full code, like still I'm a person who wants to go with full code, right? But still, I want to explain how other solutions, rather than going full code, works in the long run, right? Yeah. So I hope you guys learned a lot in this particular video. If I extend this video, it will go beyond 2 hours or 3 hours because there is so many things to discuss. But I will stop here. You can go to her blog and then you can read about this particular stuff. Right? Actually, it's extremely good. From this, I learned so many things. This combined all the information that I wanted to know, but still I had to go to each and every website, understand what they are doing, and then implement it in my workflow. Okay, so I will see you in the next video, and I will discuss a lot of things about all these front end and like these stuff.